A thumbs up from America's Secretary of State and two from the Prime Minister for the first in-person international meeting since the pandemic began. But was this all premature?
Has this been held too soon, Prime Minister?
The day didn't start so well. India's foreign minister had come halfway round the world, only to be stuck in his hotel room, self-isolating with his entire delegation after two of its officials tested positive for coronavirus. By day's end, the Foreign Secretary was having to defend the decision to hold this meeting face-to-face.
Immediately that we saw those tests, they were into self-isolation. The diplomatic exemption has been going on right the way through the pandemic, but it's been with the additional measures that we put in place, and actually they work very effectively to isolate any conceivable potential risk in this case. They didn't have in-person meetings with me. They were immediately that we saw those tests, they were into self-isolation.
After two of the Indian G7 delegation tested positive on Wednesday morning, the Indian Foreign Minister did not immediately go into isolation, despite what Dominic Raab states. Many have seen photographs showing the Indian Foreign Minister met Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, and the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, later the same day. Photographs have emerged from Thursday, showing an unmasked Indian Foreign Minister with an unmasked Indian High Commissioner flouting self-isolation rules. By definition, self-isolation requires you to stay in one room and avoid face-to-face contact with others. The experience with the Indian G7 delegation shows they have no respect for rules and the law. Given the rising number of cases in India, Boris Johnson should tell Narendra Modi and the Indian delegation to stay away from the G7 summit in Cornwall next month, when heads of state from the democratic world will be gathering.
The challenge for the G7 was finding a common voice after the disruption of the pandemic and the Trump presidency, and they'll claim to have been successful in doing so here. Critics, though, will say the COVID cases show it was too early to try face-to-face diplomacy again, and that has implications for plans to bring heads of state together in Cornwall in June.